How's it going, chipheads? Welcome to Track Mods. I hope you guys like that new intro of the beautiful Starship footage. Hey, Sick Jim. What's going on, Sick Jim? How you doing? Thanks for joining me this lovely Saturday evening. I've got this tiny, tiny little model right here. So this is my drawing here, and I had, if anyone's been following along, so I had the 2500 scale Enterprise B kit. So I decided to do my best to try to make this drawing of the ship. Side view. It's pretty close. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. And the best part is in there. Find a little switcheroo. Look at that. So as you can see, it needs lots of paint, lots of light blocking. There's Cameron. What's up, Cameron? How's it going? You saw where I was last night, so I've done some filing and sanding. So I had to clean up these edges here. These joints, they were pretty rough, so I got them nice. And see there's light coming through because that's just a bunch of glue. Right there, I got those nice and square. So I got all the tape off and got a coat of black paint on there. So a little bit more right there where it's kind of rough. Right there. So I'm just going to go around, sand it again a little bit more. And put some paint on it. Get some white paint. I don't know what's going on with my windows there. Doesn't seem bright. I wonder if I lost one of my lights inside. I don't know. This one's still nice and bright. I think it's just because the windows aren't filled yet. They're not diffused. And I don't know. There's only a couple lights in there anyways. So we'll see what happens. Once I get the windows diffused, if you turn this down like it's lit, lights up. See in there, but I don't know, maybe I could have put another light or two in there. Only put one. So Keith is here from Bricks and Sprues. How you doing, Keith? Good to see you. What do you know? And Keith and Jim, everyone's saying hi. So, let me get to what I gotta do. What I gotta do. Turn this off. Switch is hidden in. So I used a piece of this felt padding here because my little battery thing with the switch. Hey, there's Howard. Howard, you can just say hello. How you doing? Right? You can just say hi. You don't have to. You don't have to do that, man. Come on. Dash.
Oh my God!
You've been dashed.
You bastards!
Well, there you go. Thank you for that, my friend. What the hell just happened? Why did this go so little? Pretty strange. When I clicked back to the comments from the media assets, my screen went smaller and smaller and smaller. And every time I clicked the comments again, it went smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until I just had a little window in the middle of the screen, which is very weird. Very weird indeed. See there. So my screen was like this big, and I don't know why that happened. There's Russ. Hey, Russ from Cosmic Quest Hobbies. How you doing, Russ? Nice to join me tonight. Check this out. Da-da-da. Tiny starship. Tiny starship. So I got to do some painting on this and a little bit of sanding and finishing work and messing around. Howard, thank you so much for the this little super chat there. I appreciate it. Like I said, you can just say hi. You don't have to. You don't have to jump in with all that. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Anybody working on stuff? Heath, you working on your Kinga on your Kronos one? Sure, Howard's building something. Russ says, I'm working on my newest ship tonight as well. Excellent. That's excellent. Looking forward to your next video. Finally put one out the other day, but I had a mishap and something went wrong with my device when I was making the video, and I lost a lot of the content while it was saving. But my kid saved me a little bit, but I still lost, I think, whatever was currently active with the video sort of got lost. So I had to scrounge together whatever clips I could find, clips that I didn't use, edit some of that stuff in. But whatever. Came out okay. Looks good. The Miranda Hornet refit, aka the USS Trenton. Took a while. Felt bad for Trenton. He is patiently waiting for it to come out to see how the ship turned out. A little bit. Let's see. Howard says, "Nope. I just sat down. It's cleaning up stuff, trying to get some of the house looking cleaner." Oh, good. That's always good. Just trying to clean up. God damn me, cause I spilled a bunch of sea glue. Oh no. So now everything you're trying to clean up is stuck. Keith says, trying to create a thumbnail for the part work. Okay, cool. Getting like 6, 8 inches. Oh, you guys are getting the snow, eh? Dang. We had a little bit, we had a little bit of snow around here the last couple days, but it's mostly gone. It only stays in the little bushy parts off to the sides there, in the little ditches and fields. And Russ says lots of snow here today too. Just bought a new snowblower though. Right on. Trying it out for sure. Cool. Yeah, because you live in Michigan also, right, Russ? I believe you're in Michigan. And yeah, we pretty much get the same kind of weather. Might be a couple degrees colder up here, but it's very similar. I'm gonna sand this smooth. I'll give it another coat of black paint. First, I gotta do a little masking. Howard says, you would think if we had 6 inches, you guys would be in the few feet already. Sometimes there's been some years where it's November, and I remember when I was a kid, some of the Halloweens that we'd be trick or treating in the snow, trying to walk through the snow at the end of October. But lately, it comes late. The snow comes later. The winters seem colder. Summers are hotter, and the winters are colder, harsh. Because of the fact that it's colder, it doesn't seem to snow as often. But when it warms up enough and we do get some snow, we usually get a pretty good dump of it. It would have been better if I had done all this before I put the little stand on, but because of the vibrations from working on it, sanding it, using the little disc bay thing on it, vibrates it. Now that's a little bit loose. I'll fix that. Let's see. Russ says, yeah, East Michigan. Oh, sorry, West Michigan. Moved back from Nevada. Hey, oh, Nevada. We had a friend that was living in Nevada for a number of years. She's from here, and now she lives in Oregon. So Russ is West Michigan. Howard is East Michigan. That's right. We don't get as much as the West because they get more lake effect. Yeah. So if you look at the map, I'm sort of, if I was in Michigan, I'd be East Michigan, I think. I'm actually only like a 6 hour drive from you, Howard. If I was to get in my car and just drive straight on all the way, only take about 6.5 hours. And he says you keep on your side of the state, Russ. I'll try. Russ, he gets around, man. He gets around. That's what they call him. Did you know they call him that? Call him Get Around Russ. Do you know why they call him that? Guy gets around. So his name is Russ. Hey, it's my buddy Steve Martin. How's it going, Steve? Pontiac. Don't forget Southeast Michigan. Pontiac. That's right. Okay, Steve's in Pontiac. Is that near Cadillac, Michigan? Are they close together? I wonder. I wonder. A wonder, 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 wonder. All right, so I had to do a lot of. This is going to show up. Let's try this one. It's got a better. It's much better. This one has a gooder picture. So I had to do a lot of. Do a lot of grinding and filing where this pylon meets the nacelle here. It's pretty rough around there. So I'm going to be sanding on that. Straight. Steve says Cadillac. No, close, but yeah. And we got Melanandrak. How's it going? One of my viewers of my videos. How you doing? Nice for joining us here. Hello, Trek Mods friend. Been a while. I missed the start of this build, but that's a nice looking ship so far. Well, I have only been doing. There's no videos of this one. I've been slacking on my videos lately, buddy. Sorry. I'm gonna get back though. I got a bunch of projects on the go and a bunch of things in mind, but I've been doing lots of live streams here. Hey man, what focus? And needed something to build on the during the group streams with my buddies from HTM. So I had this drawing that I had done, and I had this little Enterprise B, little 2500 scale kit. So I figured, you know what? Why not try to make the drawing? See if I can get that to work. And the best part about it is, in case you didn't see the beginning, boom, there we go. So right now I'm in the process of sanding it and filing it, getting all the joints and everything smoothed out, and I'll be painting it, light blocking it some more, and we'll get a coat of white paint or whatever. I don't know. I haven't decided on my colors yet. I do have this really cool paint that my friend Ken from Ken's Hobby Bench sent me. It's this color shifting. So this stuff depends on what color surface you paint this on, right? So if you paint this on black, you get a nice sort of dark blue. It'll come out looking dark blue. But if you paint this on a light surface, it'll come out looking sort of pearly light white blue. And then it shifts in the different light. It's super cool. I used it on, actually, here's this right here. So this stand is painted with a black base coat. And then it's got that paint right there. So kind of comes out as a sort of a dark blue. And it goes purpley. You get a little bit of green in there sometimes. Yeah, it's super cool paint. So I might use that. Why not? It's fun. Fun stuff. Russ says the lights really shine. Yeah, not bad. I'm hoping my windows shine a little brighter once I fill them with some white stuff. I'll put some white stuff in there, diffuse the light, get it bouncing around in there. Probably could have painted the inside whiter. Probably also could have put another light or two inside there. Let's see. We got Blair. Hey, Blair. Blair Edlund's here. Nice to see you tonight. Gonna tune in for a little bit before you switch over to Canadian Starships. Howard says, well, we could have our own meetup with Trent and Eric, me and Steve and Russ. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Everybody in Michigan get together and have an HTM little Michigan meetup. There's Blair says, hey Jody. Hey Blair. Thanks for joining me tonight. How about those Buckeyes who are Michigan? They got whipped. They got totally whipped. Let's see, not too close Cadillac, but Ann Arbor, sorry Blue, and Howell right in my area. And if you're near Ann Arbor, you're not far from our buddy Howard there. Russ says, yeah, that'd be cool to meet up. Steve says, I love the creativity. The lights really shine. Beautiful color. I think Russ is referring to the stand of the USS Trenton. -3 Celsius here at the moment. We got fire going on in the stove and met up with the Winter Fleet friends. June's birthday. Right on. June's your wife or your girl, I guess. That's awesome. Happy birthday to June. And Tommy's here following Ghost. How you doing, Tommy? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Steve says, yeah, Michigan meetup. Awesome. And Blair says, any chance you're going to be at Wonderfest 26? You bet. I'm planning on it. I'm planning on going, and I'm bringing this. Check this out. There's the button right inside there. So bringing this and a bunch of other models, whatever I happen to have finished. I'll bring the Klingon 7D cattle bruiser. Bring the Excelsior upgraded refit. Bring the TOS Galaxy class little Enterprise. That one also has a cool painted stand. So I use that color shift on this one too, on the base. So this is just like the little kit base they give you. Then I added the front housing from a big giant discarded flashlight. And then this has that color shifting paint on it as well. I think this one's a different color. That. So I'm sure you guys have seen this one before. This was an Enterprise D 2500 scale, which I modded into the original series Galaxy class. Dish there. So yeah, this guy is going to be at Wonderfest. And no videos on that one either because I did it entirely on live streams. Yeah. And the same as this one. 7D. Look at that green paint. That's just beautiful. And then it just shines. So that's on a black surface and it goes pink and purple. So I used the same on the bottom there on some of the panels. There we go. So he says there's 11 boats so far in our winter fleet, including mine. Boats in the winter fleet? What are you on about? What's that all about? A winter fleet of boats? Please explain. Please explain. I do not understand. Okay, so back to the task at hand. Howard says, I like that color scheme on the Klingon one. Yeah, man. For sure. That just oozes Klingon aggression. Yeah. My idea is that it's sort of the stage in between the what do you call it? The D7 and then the bird of prey. Right? So they started deciding, you know what, maybe if we balance out the warp nacelles, we can even out our warp bubble geometry here, be more maneuverable, maybe achieve some higher speeds, a little more aggressive. We got some guns on the end there that I made. So where's the lens on this thing? Get the big guns. Yeah, this one's gonna be fun. Lights aren't very bright though. I don't know. I did something weird with the lights. Not too good at wiring. Trying to learn. Uh, Lacking in some areas. Great lore building. Yeah, thanks. Especially coming from you, Russ. You comes to lore building, you really go the extra mile, put in the extra effort. You don't just make models, you have the entire story that goes with them and this whole universe that they all belong to, which is super cool. So anybody that's in the chat watching that hasn't seen Cosmic Quest Hobbies, go check out his channel on YouTube if you want to see some really cool, interesting model builds. So it almost looks. Just see this now, and I probably won't ever be able to unsee it. So let me see. It almost looks like one of these is. Oh yeah, that's a lot thinner. Not sure how that happened. Just the process of smoothing this out and filing everything. Well, so I'll do my best to try to even it out, I guess. What time is it? 8:30. Get in here and see if I can just spin this a bit. I can't go too far because I'll go right through the edge of it. And it's not a super thick piece of plastic there. I think I can take a little bit away. That looks like a Corvette class vessel. Yeah, I guess you could call it that. I call it the Compulsion class because I started working on it out of a compulsion to try to create my drawing. So I'm calling it Compulsion class. I don't know what the name of it's going to be yet, but it'll be something that includes the letters from the word Reliant because that's what I have for decals. I can mix and match letters from the Reliant decals that I didn't use because Trenton Bennett sent me a really nice set of custom decals for the Hornet, which is called the USS Trenton. He offered to order me some sheets for it. He said, "What should I tell the guy the name is?" And I said, "Why don't you pick the name?" I said, "It doesn't really matter to me as long as it's not the Reliant." And he couldn't decide on what to call it, so I said, "How about the Trenton? Why not? It's a good name for a ship." Then I can go here. If I go too thin, I'll just have to throw it back in, I guess. Actually, at the end here is where it's got to kind of taper out. And it's barely noticeable, but I see it. Bothers me. So I see the little things that I think everyone else is going to see and go, "Ah, that's awful," and just totally disregard whatever other things I did to this because of the one or two things that look awful. That's just the way that I think. Can't help it. See, it says Reliant. If you had a couple extra letters, you could get the Retaliant. Yeah. For for this one, I used the letters from Enterprise because I had the Galileo shuttlecraft, and I know that I'm not going to use the decals for that. So I rearranged Enterprise and I got USS Sprinter, but this could have just as easily been called the Inserter or the Reinserter or the Reprise, because I just took the word Enterprise and I plugged it into one of those word scramble search thingies to give me some options for what I could do, and I had a bunch of words to pick from, and I went with the Sprinter. Oh, here's my little thing right here. So it could have been the represent, the presenter, the inserter, the reinsert, the pretense, the repenter, the sprinter, or the reprise. And I almost went with a representer because I had two Enterprise decals that I could have used, so I could have doubled up my letters, but I went with sprinter because it was a shorter, easier word to lay out. Because decals are not my strong point. Says me and June live in a narrow boat on the canals of the UK. Oh, no way. That is freaking cool. So, a narrow boat, I guess that's kind of like a houseboat, right? And cruise around the rivers is really cool. I had this buddy that was on a TV show called Ice Lake Rebels, where it was about people living on houseboats in Great Slave Lake, way, way up north. It's one of those weird, dumb reality shows. And it was kind of interesting, but he said the way they edit it is to make it more dramatic than it actually is. And he says they're also encouraged to, sort of hype up the drama, stuff like that. But living on a boat, that's cool. So a narrow boat, I'm gonna have to look that up and see what that is. I'm thinking it's like a really narrow houseboat because the canals over in the UK aren't huge, right? There's a lot of little rivers and tributaries and creeks and stuff, but they're not big. If you have two equal size Reliant decals, you can cut in the extra letters easily enough to make Retaliant. Yeah, but it's got to be real little, man. I can only use the small ones, right? I got the decals for the 1000 scale Reliant. So I got to go with little ones. Like if you see here, so that'll be kind of the right size, I guess, for this. It'll look big, but it'll look okay. That's the Trenton. Retaliant is, for what this looks like, it's a suiting name. It's a fitting name for what this thing actually. It looks like it's retaliatory. It looks like a little badass ship, and it's small too. So it's kind of like on par with the Defiant, sort of in the same area, the same area. So I narrowed that a little bit. Looks a little more even. I'm not going to get the caliper out. I'm just going to accept it for what it is. Going. Because, like I said, if I go too hard, I'm going to end up going right through the edge of the plastic here. I do not want to do that. I do not want that. Just, just go. Just snuggle up to it there. There. That's a little more Personal isn't it? I do have a little dome that's in there, but I don't have it on right now because I want to paint first and it keeps falling out. So I'll have to glue that in later on. No, I'm not. I don't know if I'm going to try to make a mask that fits here or if I'll just scrape the paint off afterwards, which is just as easy to do. Looks like I gotta go in a little further. These not quite even. This one looks like it goes just a little bit deeper back than this one does. I don't think anyone's even gonna see that or notice it at all. Let me know in the comments. Turn the lights on, you can't see that. Of course, if you turn the lights on, you're not getting a super accurate representation because it's not. I guess that part's blocked pretty well. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so here we got some info. My boat is 57 feet long by 6 feet 10 inches wide. Engine was fitted in 1915. She used to haul cargo around the country before she was converted into a home on the water. Cruise all year round. That sounds really cool, man. That sounds fun. So, a lot of the other guys in HTM would be right into that. So you should tune into the Woody Wednesday stream on HTM. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hold on, hold on. Give me 1 second. Just fly this around here for a sec while I'm looking. How do I get a link? Clickety click. Share channel. Copy channel ID? No, share channel. Copy link. There we go. Paste link. Enter. Boom. So go there on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And we do group streams where there's a bunch of us doing this all together. And a lot of the other guys are into ships and boats and stuff like that. I think you probably enjoy watching the group streams, and you'd probably enjoy watching the Wood Wednesday stream where they're working on wooden models, like usually boats, and sometimes other things. So you should go check that out. Let's see what we got. 840. 840. Okay, just feeling it here. Smooth. So I took the time earlier before the stream and I smoothed all this off because this is the Enterprise B and the Excelsior nacelle there. So this is the bottom of the nacelle. I got it flipped upside down. Cut quite a bit off. Put the little scoop in there. Yeah, it's got a bunch of lines and ridges and like a grid on there. I want it smooth. So I had to file that earlier. That's why there's no paint left on it. So anywhere you see, right, I put a black coat on it just so last night on the group stream, just so I could light it up and block the light and see where I needed to work on it, right? But the single coat helps you see what's going on the model. So I'm probably not going to get to painting this tonight. I was going to, but I'm running out of time. I assume everyone's going to head over to Canadian Starships, so I would also like to head over to Canadian Starships. Andrew hasn't been streaming as regularly as usual, so it's nice to watch him take a break. So, but I didn't think Andrew was going to be on tonight, so I scheduled for 8 o'clock. If I had known he was going to be on, I would have scheduled for earlier, say 6:30 or 7. My boat is named Hole in the Water. She's an iron hulled narrow boat with a hull about 125 years old. Wow, man. That's cool. Sounds like a pretty interesting lifestyle. See all the ridges on the other side here. But I'm going to leave those because that's basically, that would have been the top of the Excelsior. So I'm going to, it's the bottom of this one now, so I'm just going to leave it. Smooth it down a little bit though. So I got to adjust my masks here. Had some thin strips of tape masking those off on the inside and the outside. It's not really going to matter what it looks like on the inside now because I can get the shape I want. So this is a little bit longer than the light that I have in there. So I'm going to trim this back and just mask off a shorter area for the chiller grills. So, talking about the boat before she had an engine, she was pulled by horses. The bollards for connecting the ropes for the horses to pull the boat are still there. Also, the bigger rudder from that period is still there. Oh, that's cool. I love old stuff. Antique things are so cool. That's why I'm so cool. Yeah. Not quite antique, but I'm vintage. I'm vintage. So not easy to see, but that roundy part there, that's the little front belly part of the Enterprise B. What's left of it, just to give you a better idea of what it was. So this is the part that's been removed. Flare out piece, and then the hole where the deflector dish is. So right from below the neck, I guess. No, not even, because I removed the neck. So the neck is gone. So right at the belly part. There we go. Right where this part starts. And then just a little, just the thin section of it up to the fantail. So I got the fantail in underneath here. That's part of it exposed. And then I made like a little shell around it to thicken it. And then I decided it needed a little detail, so I put that little divot in there, which I'll paint a different color. Add some detail, maybe look like, make it look like there's like a little door here, something. The rear 8 feet of the cabin superstructure is the original cabin where she was first used as a cargo boat. A family of 11 lived in there and worked in the boat back then. Wow, cool. How'd you acquire a boat like that? It's not easy to get things that are hundreds of years old that are still usable. All right, so get my glass piece here. Let's get rid of some of this. Some of this tape. Just cleaning off glass. So let's get the to me. Flat tight to keep it straight. So I broke my tip of my blade. Ew, that's gross. There it is. Got a fresh one here. Alec is here. Welcome, Alec. Says just heard from my mom. She's thinking about getting shelves in the hallway leading up to my room for models so I can clear out space. Cool. Awesome. Welcome, Alec. How are you doing tonight? It's nice to have you here. Okay, so I just want to sort of a thing. I'm going to make it a little wider than I had it before. Okay, so I pretty much need 4 of them. Okay, so I gotta I'll turn this on so I can see where the masks need to go. So this will probably shine right through my tape. Probably just put this on. Yes. Perfect. And then I can see exactly where it is. Oops. Okay, sorry if I don't get to your comment right away. Don't have a lot of time here left. I want to try to get some of this done. So Alex says, not bad. Got tomorrow off and planning to donate blood. Well, that's nice. Good for you. Okay, so just there. I'll go just a little past. Just a little past the end of it, and then it'll get sort of that faded off kind of look. Bit. Just trying to trim it ever so narrow bit off of there. Go. So, okay. Inside. Come on. Just need to shift it slightly. This is an awkward position to try to get into. Go. Ah, shit balls. Burnish that down a little. This one could be a little bit. So it's just out of beef. Instead of removing it, just add a little bit. So sort of tapers just slightly towards the back. So the only way we'll be able to see that is if I turn the light off. There we go. All right, so there is what the chiller grill is going to be like. I got the inside and outside of that one. Inside and outside of that one. And I'm going to continue this while I watch Andrew's show. I'm going to slip out and pop over to Canadian Starships. And we'll see what Andrew's up to. And I want to thank everyone. Thanks to Howard for the nice little gift at the beginning. I appreciate that. Thanks to Russ and Steve for joining and watching. And we got Blair here too. We got Tommy. Thanks, Tommy, for tuning in. Cam's here. And Milan Ondrak, one of my loyal viewers of my regular videos. And like I said, I'll have another video coming out pretty soon. Thanks to Alec for popping in. Sorry I couldn't get to everybody's comments. I was focused on what I was doing there. So that's it for me. And we'll see you guys in the comments over on Andrew's stream. Take care, everybody. Keep on trekking. See you later.